It is fuck if I know. I don't even know. Episode. I need to really keep track of this
Nah,
shit. 109,
definitely gotta count.
108,
Definitely
107.
gotta
I've been losing count too.
count. Damn. What is it?
Should be
It's about
103,
108.
102, 103.
103. There you go. Yeah, 103. We're getting the 1 O's mixed up. But we
Yeah.
106 on the other side.
Yeah, no, we live though. We live. We in here.
Yeah.
It is another Wednesday, 9:30. We here. We on time every
Is it?
Wednesday.
That's
Money
right.
Flocks here. You know what it is. Get the book. Always on sale. Boom. Elusive Perspective. Appreciate y'all that got
There
it.
you go.
I need the reviews. And if you want to go to the website, elusiveperspective.com, I will give you a signed copy. I'll send a signed copy. We got King Arthur in the building.
What up? What up? Unify and Thrive. Make sure y'all get a copy of the book. Yeah, Unify and Thrive. If you didn't know, it's about to be a nice summer fall. I'm going outside. I'm going outside to get some money. Subaru, what up, cuz? How you feeling?
Same shit, y'all. Hey, y'all people, follow me on Spoken Words at 161. Help me move some of them videos that need that algorithm push because I ain't getting no help. The people is not going to send it out for me, so please look. Whatever you do,
Me, bro.
Spoken Words 161, help push this algorithm. Other than that, how everybody doing tonight? We here for another episode of some of the greatness. Things that we did not know that these people had the capability of that we are trying to expose to the world. So pay attention, follow along.
Exactly. We just talking. Yo, Zoom looks clear. Yo, why Zoom look better than Skype was looking?
Thanks
Sure
up.
do.
Everybody's clear. Everybody contrast is nice. HD's looking good.
Well, you got that.
I'm gonna try StreamYard next week. But yeah, maybe it was decent that Skype video was always trash. Maybe that's why they gone when they out of here. But
They
Well,
don't need it anyway.
yeah, nah, we ain't gonna miss Skype because this look better anyway. What he say so I can subscribe. Oh,
All right, we're about to type
Tim,
it in chat.
Tim was asking your.
Oh, it's on the screen. Spoken word. No, they ain't.
Yes, it's Spoken Words 161
on TikTok.
on TikTok. Yeah,
161.
follow that. Yeah, 161. Please follow that page. That page needs some push. I mean, there's a lot of information on that page. Just pay attention. I mean, you will be intrigued. That's all I can tell you.
That's what's up. Are they fucking with
If
you
y'all
on
watching
that
this,
page?
like it.
Boy, heavily.
Mm-hmm.
You know how that go. That ain't gonna stop. That's why I'm asking for the push. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not doing it. And especially like our videos, they don't even show them. Literally, they'll show them like 6, 7 people, if that.
Yeah, they destroyed our figure shit out TikTok. And we still got the
Yeah.
other one. I think it's figuring
Alright.
shit out.
Did you put that info in the Jamie? Because I ain't even post over there yet.
Nah, it's the same. I think it's the same.
it?
But yeah,
Alright.
yeah, it's up there. We just gotta build that back up. It's crazy how they did that though. We had what, like 1,000 followers. We ain't really had that much going on. But
About 1,500 here.
it's like 2-3 years of content just
Gone.
dusted.
They good.
Whatever
For
you
that,
post the
though.
rest with.
Huh?
They good for that.
Yeah.
Imagine
no
they be
warning.
people that when people they be having like 300, 400,000 followers, they'll snatch their shit just like that. You know what I'm saying? It's all wild, man. I don't know who controlling it now. I think Meta is because Meta has so much invested into TikTok now. It has basically become Facebook.
Now I remember when you could talk about anything on TikTok. There was freedom of speech. You could say anything, do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Learn about fringe type of shit. Now it's like it's so censored and regulated. They really changed their tune. Like it's really you can't. They got topics and things that you can't talk and touch. They will block your shit, give you warnings, destroy your account without.
So is free
prejudice.
speech really free?
Not up there.
Just
not
not on a publicly traded platform.
Well, so far so good on Rumble. We ain't had no issues with Rumble. You know what I'm saying?
Because Rumble been big once Rumble become a big platform, how these platforms are, that's it. You get what I'm saying? Once they start adding ads, platforms, once ads start rolling in, it becomes a whole different scene then.
Well, Rumble has ads, but a lot of their ads aren't like I have an ad on Rumble. There's not like major. I don't think there's major corporations putting ads on Rumble yet. It's like small people. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody with a company or business or selling something. But yeah, you're right. If they probably get like major corporations coming over to Rumble, like the big box stores and all that, then they'll complain about it, whatever. But I don't think they probably won't do that because they know it's gonna change the dynamic. So anyway, check us out on Rumble. We up there. We everything.
I'm just saying the bad boy out there.
Yeah, we said a lot of things up there. I don't think we said crazy things, but a lot of shit we can't say on YouTube and TikTok
thing's crazy.
and Facebook is on Rumble. So go support us on there. Rumble, figuring conspiracy shit out. Hold on, let me tell y'all exactly where it is.
What's up?
Figuring conspiracy shit out on Rumble, just like that. Spell it out with the SHXT. What are we talking about today, fellas? What we got going on?
Hey, look, hold on. Hey, you gotta start posting it on the screen somehow. Is there any way that we can post on the screen so then everybody basically knows?
Oh yeah, hold on. I can do that. That's easy.
Yeah. Every time we go live, we posting. Which your information, cuz information, my information just had posted in the box. So those who trying to follow, subscribe, the link to your book, and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? We'll have all displayed.
Mm-hmm.
He about to make a scroll in real time.
Yeah, next week for that though, fellas. We'll have all that shit ready.
Hold on. There should be one already here. I don't know where the fuck it went.
Yeah.
And
oh,
Zoom, maybe
no, I could do this.
Yeah. So yeah, cause what we talking about today? What we talking about?
Boy, we talking about, man, the people up to no good again, cause they messing with people's memories. You know, they want the alter. Like I said, they don't want nothing for you. They don't want you to have nothing for yourself. Nothing. I mean, literally, they want to manufacture everything you experience, everything you do. That's their whole concept. They want access to the body completely, even down to any individual thought. I mean, we see that with advertisement. You know what I'm saying? How they gravitate to what's in your mental, to the point where you're thinking it, and now all of a sudden you're seeing it everywhere. So they're attacking the mind.
Oh, yeah.
Now, being able to go into people's mind and alter these type of things could cause coercion as well as any type of pain or suffering. Because if they're able to give you memories, they're able to take memories. You feel what I'm saying? They're able to implement any type of will that they will want to put on you. That's just like if they want to completely control you, they can. They can give you a bunch of fucked up memories that'll run you crazy or drive you crazy. It's a strange situation, man. I just don't like that these people sit all day in some type of lab coming up with ways to fuck us. That's what they do.
They got whole departments. They got that's their job. They go to the office and be like, all right, how we fucking the people today? What you got? Everybody go through your ideas.
It's like pessimistic, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
It's like the cartoon Pinky in the Brain. What we gonna do today, Brain? Try to take over the world. That's some shit that these people on a day-to-day basis. Somebody literally wakes up in the morning saying, you know what? Back in the lab, because we got to make sure we critique this chemical, or we got to make sure that it is enough of it is in the product to make sure it takes its fully effect. I mean, I don't understand it, man. This ain't life. This ain't living. When people are trying to alter what's supposed to be sacred to you throughout your life, your memories, that's supposed to be yours. That's not supposed to be shared unless you choose to. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to give people access to your memories and thoughts. But like I said, if they have access to it, they can alter them, which is the most dangerous with it. Yeah.
Think about what they've done with our bodies so far. You know, our bodies, like with the food and medicine and chemicals, they get access to that. They control that. They modify that. They got the injections, mRNA, and all that stuff. They can program your cells to do certain things. Okay, that's the physical. That's the body. Now, how do we do that with the mind? Okay, we got brainwashing and we have, the CIA and all that stuff. But now thoughts, getting into your thoughts and doing that, that's like next level. That's like ultimate control, right? Like if you can get in and control people's thoughts for real, not through brainwashing and propaganda, but like go in there and like just push a few buttons and then just change a motherfucker for real. That's crazy. That's the next level.
What about doing it like in real time? So like, let's say somebody like on some old spy movie type shit. Say somebody wanted to rob a bank, right? But they need to create a distraction, right? Mm-hmm. And so when they orchestrating said distraction, they're able to go do whatever. But the people who see it don't get to see it because they see the distraction. What if they just doing stuff like that? That's like so not really altering, like physically altering memory, but like actually altering the events, right? So you see it differently, right? So you don't see what's going on. You just see what they put in front of you while they doing something behind the scenes. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. It's like it's the Mandela effect. We all talk about the Mandela effect. I tell people there's no such thing. To me, there's no such thing. What these people do is they change shit purposely, put it out to the world, and see who can remember what was said or what that was all about. And it shows them how effective their chemicals are working against us. Because they want to know who can remember and who can't. The world is headed for Alzheimer's. I promise you that. 90% of the chemicals that's in our food, drinking water, deodorants, lotions cause Alzheimer's because they want everybody to forget. This will be a new way that they will implicate whitewashing, brainwashing, because access to the memories, we just erase everything that they know. And to me, that's what Gwyn Towers are. If you look into Gwyn Towers, anybody in the chat, whatever the case may be, look up Gwyn Towers and the effects that they have on you and what they can do with these towers. They're going inside. A lot of this shit, I said like 2 years ago when I first started getting into Gwyn Towers, you will see people doing things that you have never heard of. And you'll be like, what would make a person do something like that? It's not necessarily them, because through frequencies and towers, they can give you thoughts, change thoughts, have you doing all types of shit. You basically control. And some of the stuff that we're putting in our bodies is helping that. You get what I'm saying? Especially with the AI world, with the nanotechs, you know what I'm saying? Everything is full of nanotech. So it's building a small computer in your body with the food you consume, the water you drink, the deodorants, the lotions, whatever has chemicals in it. Put them all together, you're building something. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're building death or you're building a computer. But to me, I think they're building like computers, because that's what nanotechnology is. Nanoparticles inside of your body. What are they there for?
I got to push back just a little bit on what you're saying about the Mandela effect, because you said you don't believe. So you're saying they change in our memories, or they actually change reality. What was you saying?
So they're changing, just say for instance, like the Bernstein Bears, they changed the name purposely to the Bernstein Bears to see who would remember that the name was originally the Bernstein Bears. No different when they say, what's the name, played Shazam. He even came on TV and said it never existed. But then came back and retracted and said, what? It did exist.
I know, but how do they change? Are you saying how they change the name, the Berenstain Bears, though? Like you talking about reprints? Because
yeah, that's all they did. I mean, understand, we're dealing with these people that run the world, so they can pull everything from off the shelves, as we say, or off the archives that we would never see it. They know how to make information disappear and then re-implement the same thing that they made disappear in a different spelling or a different way to see if our memories can remember what it used to be. You get what I'm saying?
I hear you, but at the same time, like, so I gotta talk about my experience when it was 2014, 2013, when the Mandela effect hit, or when I discovered it. I know, like, I went back to some DVDs. I had DVDs of movies that changed. Like, the same DVD was sitting in my thing for like 10, 15 years. When I watched it back in the day, it was a certain way. And then after Mandela effect, and they said, oh, this movie changed. Then I took that same DVD, watched it again, and it changed. So, like, how do you explain it? Because, like, there's no way. How do you explain?
POS is a hell of a thing, man. Power of suggestion. It's the reason they. I mean, it's no different than this, Flop. It's no different than this. Why do you have people that was at 9/11 that said planes hit the building? Then you said people said that they did not hit the building. All of these people was in the same area at the same place at the same time. But why can some say, I can remember a plane hitting it, and then you can say some say I can't remember?
No. I know that's suggestion and heat of the moment and chaos. I get that, but I'm not talking about like something like chaotic like that. I'm talking about like a core memory. Like you can't. Nobody on this planet can tell me especially a Star Wars shit, because I'm a Star Wars head. You can't tell me a certain scene didn't happen a certain way when I know for the first 20 some years of my life it never changed, and then all of a sudden it's different. Like you can't con me.
So are you saying
and
that?
tell
Are you
me
saying that they changed your DVD?
I
That's what
don't.
I'm saying.
That's the question I'm posing. How did my
But
DVD change when
the
I know for a
DVD,
fact, I will bet my life that it was this certain
only
way.
thing changed, that's the only thing changed was this, and they was testing it. Listen to what I'm saying. That's why they couldn't have did it with no. Now, say for instance, if they come to your house and you had a memory in your head that happened in your family,
Hmm.
they couldn't come to you and say that memory has changed because it wasn't a worldwide event. You see how this works? When it's worldwide, it's out there. So this is something that everybody's seen. You may have seen constantly over time, more than one time. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So you will start to question your mind when it's been reflipped. It's called cognitive dissonance. They give it to you in one way constantly, and then they change it to see if you can remember it. They can't do it with a memory in your family or with your grandma, a memory that you had growing up with your grandma. They can't go in there and alter that one that we know of, but now that we're speaking of it about it now, but on a Mandela effect, let's see them do that. Change a memory that I have from me with my grandmother that's not worldwide.
I
That
do
everybody
have.
knows about.
You want to know something crazy? Now I give you that.
Uh-huh.
I'll give you that example because
Uh-huh.
I remember when I was in New York, it was like it had to be 97, 98. I was on a school trip and we went to DC from New York. We went to DC. There was
Mm-hmm.
the monument, not monument. There was a World War II memorial. You know where they got the cities or the states, and they got the wall with the names and all that. We
Yeah.
visited that. I was in New York. This is a core memory. Can't nobody tell me. You know what I'm saying? It was like 96 or 97. We took a trip from New York to DC. I visited that memorial. Tell me why, years later, like maybe like 5 years ago, I look up that memorial when it was built, and it wasn't built or put up till like 2001, 2002. Now tell me how did I visit it in the mid 90s on a school trip from New York, but then it wasn't there till 2000 and something. You know what I'm saying? So that's a core memory that I have
The
of
time,
seeing that monument, but
yeah, it
history is
was there,
telling me it wasn't built.
but that's them changing time again. You gotta understand, you gotta deal with people that has altered and changed time all across the board. These are the same people that made the indigenous people light-skinned people. These people have been doing this since eons. They have this all around the world. They have been changing shit, and people can't remember it. That's it's whitewashing, but they do this Mandela effect shit.
So
I think.
with that example, I
Uh-huh.
could give it to you. They can change online the date that it was put up, right? They could say, okay, initially the memorial, whatever, it was put up in the 80s, but now let's change it to say 2001. So everybody who's seen it in the 80s and 90s go crazy. I get that, right? That because I would look at that and be like, yo, I swear I was there in the mid 90s. Nobody could tell me I wasn't there. I've seen it. I've been there in person. I was in school. We took a trip. And I give you that. But when it comes to the DVD and the movie changing, like I don't see how, even if they could change it online and change clips, they can't come in my house. They can't go to everybody's house and change all the DVDs. That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm
It,
saying? Like,
the new version they showed you,
no, it's the same DVD I had for like 20
and this.
years.
So now with you wrestling in that in your mind, you know it's not possible that the DVD that you'd have had in your house for years has changed, right? So now
Yes.
it makes you think in your mind, what did they do to me so that I don't even remember that?
No,
Because
no, no.
something
My
took
memory is clear. I don't. I got faith in my memory about this.
It's a
it's
disconnect somewhere. Unless you saying
with
they came and you hook your DVD up.
They
can't
came.
be the
They
same.
made new DVDs and came to my house and swapped it out while I was asleep.
That's just like
Yeah.
telling me. That's just like telling me something about Friday. Like he's telling me a Smokey line and then saying it ain't the same. Like I don't know, bro. Like
But I call them out on all of them Cause everyone that they try to change and flip, I call them out because I can remember this shit. You get what I'm saying? And I know how good my memory is when it comes to my childhood and
Everybody say that
basically
though.
the switch up. I haven't bit on none of these Mandela effects that these people have brought to fruition because I know what they're doing though.
Look, I'm about to show
I
you.
see it.
I'm about to
What's
show
up? We about
you.
to show.
This is the monument. I'm telling you. Look at what I'm telling you. World War II Memorial in Washington D.C. I've been here. It's got all the 50
There you
states.
go.
There's like a waterfall and stuff. Look what it says here. The World War II Memorial was popular with visitors when it opened in the spring of 2004. That's bullshit because I was there in 96, 97 and it was there. You know what I'm saying? So
it might have been there, but probably not officially open.
it says open right. It says right here, open in spring.
I said it might have been there, but not officially.
And
open.
when was it built? When was it built? As when was it built?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me. All right, World War II Memorial in Washington D.C.
So they good
Bill.
at doing this, man. They the best at it. I mean, and it's a clever trick.
Look at this. Look. Construction began in September 2001. Bro, that's it can't be. I'm telling you, I was there in 96.
I was there.
I have pictures. I have the little picture joints.
Nah, that's what you need to find. You need to find a picture.
With my friends,
distinguishable.
Bro, I could try to find it. I was
good.
there in the
That'll do
90s. They talking about we constructed
You
it
won't
in
know that's
2000.
But it's crazy because then you probably could find a friend that say that never happened.
I got some.
Oh,
I got friends with them. I'm gonna ask them too.
See, that's the point. Everybody memory and recollection of things are different. Nobody's the same. You get what I'm saying? So somebody's going to see it different. Somebody's going to remember it different.
Bro, I was here in 90s. I'm telling you. That shit bugged me out. That's one of those things. People don't have to believe me. They can say I'm making it up or whatever.
Yeah.
I was there.
You gotta find the picture, guys.
I'll look for it. But I don't know what to tell you.
But like I said, to me, it's them playing with our mental, man. Just seeing what we can remember versus what we can't. Even down to the Tony Tiger, man. They were even to the Fruit Loop guy. I mean, they did this shit purposely to see who can remember and who can't, because that gives them a denomination on whose memory is easily to be influenced versus who's not. They did it with the same thing called a pandemic to see whose mind is easily influenced, whose mind is easily not. They constantly do that because the whole purpose is for your mental. That's what they're looking for, the control of that, because once they control that, there's nothing else to follow. They got you. Period. You're not a critical
I'm gonna hit up
thing.
my people, my friends from back then. I'm gonna ask them about that.
Please, let's prove that point.
I think there's probably a difference between NPC. I think like whoever the true NPCs of this world are. I think they're the ones that mold to what the new reality is and will swear up and down. And I don't know. I think people with souls or people that are awake are the ones that notice differences, or whatever the case have you. Because there's like 3 or 4 people I can ask right now, and I'm about to probably when I get up, I'm gonna ask them about this trip. I know they were with me on it. We lived in the Bronx. We went to DC. They might have a different memory of the monument, or they might say, yeah, we went to DC, but we didn't see that, and that'll bug me out because I know for sure I saw those things, but I can't call it.
Hey, I seen something on the internet, and it was like, to y'all point, like they resetting shit, right, or just making shit a different way. So when the kids coming up, they gonna know it's a particular way, but like the people that's older, and the dude was just like, people in 2025, y'all missed it. The whole thing's over. Like y'all done missed
everything. Changed.
Y'all done missed everything. Yeah, everything. Y'all done missed everything. What you about to grow into is not what life was, right?
Like Tartaria, the Tartarian buildings, like 100 plus years ago, when they had Tartarian buildings and architecture or whatever, and then that generation started dying out, and then the new generation replacing them. Never seen those buildings because they knocked them down, the flood or whatever. They grew up not even knowing. They grew up knowing particular buildings, like a lot of buildings in DC in certain areas, but they were founded, right? They weren't never built by anybody. They were founded a certain year. So yeah, that Tartaria, same thing.
Yeah, you got to think about it. They can't just do how they used to do back then, to get rid of everybody's memory, wiping everybody out. You know what I'm saying? So, everything has been chemical castration now. So a lot of the memory loss comes through the chemicals we consume. If you look, Alzheimer is at an all-time fucking high because that's what the chemicals that we're consuming is pushing everybody to. Why? Because it makes you forget. They can't just flood the whole earth and flood. They doing it in small portions, but they can't do it how they would say do it back then. You know what I'm saying? Because they done came up with new strategic ways of doing it, of making people forget and on the shit that they knew or whatever the case may be. They constantly working on it. And they're not gonna stop. But they love whitewashing and brainwashing, so they can set in with their cognitive dissonance to get their predictive programming going on. That's not gonna change. They coming up with better ways to do it. You know what I'm saying? And one of the ways is what we hold in our phone all day long, because that's what programs us now, is the phones, the AI technology. We surrounded by it all day long. So they gonna already know what you can remember and what you can't. Because you see how the phones are now. You get what I'm saying?
Hey,
you don't even have
imagine, hey bro, imagine your robot gaslighting you. Imagine your robot, you telling your robot, bro. Imagine you telling your robot about something, and he's like, "It happened that way," and like, but you know it happened that way, right? Like, we went to Burger King. No, you didn't. You was at Red Lobster, and he's like, "Nigga."
See, that's the part. Cause if I keep telling you, no, it ain't the way you remember it was. Eventually, you're gonna side with me and say, "Yeah." See what I'm saying?
If you repeat it long enough and tell them long enough,
cognitive dissonance. I got to keep telling you, nah, that ain't the way it was. You're gonna eventually start to believe that, hey, maybe I'm wrong. you know what I'm saying? You question yourself, and then you side with them. I mean, they got you after that because you can't even pull a memory that you had about the situation out of your head and say it's correct now because now you questioning yourself.
I'm about to ask somebody right now.
Hold on.
I don't know if they're gonna respond.
Can memories be altered? Yes, memories can be altered and changed over time. This can occur through various mechanisms. Memories are not static recordings. They are not static recordings, but rather more constantly being reconstructed and updated as new information and experiences are encountered. So basically, they already know that your brain ain't keeping a still photo of a particular event, right? It may be traumatized enough to freaking, crystallize as a still moment, but even the information in the moment can be skewed and or changed, right? You know what I mean? Like you say you fell in the water and you thinking, you assume that the water cold. They tell you, the water was 87 degrees or something like that. And you like, but this memory stuck in my head this kind of way, right? So they already know how to change the memory, how to alter it, without even you being them being there when it happened, right?
That's why they don't like to show you in court if you're on a trial in a jumpsuit. They like to put you in a suit because it's the thought of the if everybody's sitting there looking at you, the jury looking at you with orange, it screams guilty because that's how they're gonna see you. They're not going to see you as a man there in a suit. They're going to see you as an inmate standing in orange.
Looking crazy. Looking crazy. I just asked somebody. I don't know if she's going to get back to me in time. But I'll keep you posted on Facebook. I asked somebody that was there with me in the 90s. Okay. Yeah, we old. But we got a video.
The random person on the internet.
No, this is somebody I went to school with back then. She was there. I don't know. I'm going to see what she say. I don't know if she's gonna get back to me while we're doing this.
You got a video to play for us?
Yeah, I do got a video. I'm gonna play it. They're talking about changing memories.
Hold on. The brain process of memory consolidation. The memory is known as reconstruction or reconsolidation. Creates a window of opportunity where the existing memories can be altered or changed. This happens when the memory is retrieved and then reactivated, making it valuable to change or manipulate. That's some psychology for your ass. Okay. Yeah. Take a nigga in his dream, reconstruct it, and now that shit in his brain a whole new way.
I'm gonna tell you like this though, cuz Y'all, when
So,
I started talking about this shit in 2019 about the cloud, when they were saying that, through iPhone, everybody's putting everything in the cloud. That
mm,
shit, they was talking about the cloud being basically a cloud where you can go in and pull memories and thoughts out. You get what I'm saying? If you look into it, all that shit surrounds that, and it speaks to what we're talking about basically now. And I was talking about this shit in 2019, and it's taking place. They was talking about, especially people that have iPhones, because y'all stick everything in the cloud. If you pay attention to the cloud, where's the cloud? The cloud is
that's
up, which
everybody
people
though.
can reach and pull it down,
But
and that's what they were talking
once
about.
they once they learn to tap into that consciousness and put that bitch on the disc or put that bitch in the hard drive,
Or
right?
it's a wrap.
That's what's gonna happen. And it's on its way. Like I think it was so much shit saying they able to transfer consciousness or something, or cut a nigga head up, put on a whole nother body, and the brain still
But they
be
already
his
won.
brain.
They
Yeah,
trying it now. I got
Do that shit
videos of
to
that.
I seen
dogs.
it. Y'all seen that shit?
Yeah.
I seen it with
So,
dogs.
so
The
yeah,
Russian scientists from back in the day,
that's
fuck,
crazy.
doing that with dog heads, and the heads are still alive, and yeah, it's crazy.
How do you reattach the
Them niggas so smart
expand
because they know they so smart. They
spine?
just putting that shit right in like a click. It's like a motherfucking toy.
But you gotta
Let's
attach the
imagine that.
spine to the
It's
floor though.
modular.
Just imagine that you got a 200-year-old brain head on a 20-year-old body.
There was a movie with Ryan Reynolds. I don't know the name of the movie. Where he switched with an old dude. Like he was a rich old dude. They switched him to a
Mm-hmm.
younger body. And yeah, no, that's crazy. I think yeah, they switched his soul over or something. And his soul suppressed the other soul.
So now just imagine you 175 and a nigga still telling you some events didn't happen in a particular way.
Telling you about a Mandela effect, and you got a memory of a 70-year-old man and a fucking
Did you?
year old body talking about a Mandela effect.
Listen,
Man,
That be
shit.
there's
fucked
certain
up.
things. I know I don't got the best memory, but there's a handful. There's several things that I will die on that hill that I know changed. You know what I'm saying? You can't. I don't. There's nobody on this planet that can convince me that I remember it wrong because it's like core memories, core pop culture things, songs, movies, logos. Chick-fil-A just came back with the K. They had the K. They got rid of the K, and now the K is back. Nobody can tell me. You can't tell me that the K didn't disappear and then come back. The K is back. I don't. It
Only
just
with
is.
shit that's worldwide. Only
Huh?
with shit that's worldwide though. They only can do it with things that's worldwide. They can't do it with a single memory.
I
And so
told you.
they
I
can
told
do
you the World War II. That was like my class. It was like 30 people. Well, it was me
I
really.
what I'm saying though. Still, even with that, it wasn't just your memory though. They can't do
Yeah.
it with something that's just your memory. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay.
If it's just your memory, then you can holler Mandela effect. But you can't take and change a memory that I experienced by myself throughout my life and change it and say that didn't happen. Because that ain't the way it goes. I don't know how they. I ain't gonna say I don't know how they doing it because I know how they doing it. They're
Mm-hmm.
just changing shit and seeing who can remember. So you know what? Let's just take the K off Chick-fil-A and put it out and see who can remember it with a K. These people play these games all day long, man.
I know,
You know
but
what I'm
you gotta
saying?
explain to me how are they changing the logo overnight in all hundreds of stores around the world?
In stores,
Like the logos on the sign. They they pick a day,
we don't know. But
they run to
about it
all
is,
the Chick-fil-A stores, chop the K off, and then
we.
a few years later they all go back and then put the K back.
But how, it's crazy though. How did you know when they started building the new ones? They put a K in it. You didn't even pay attention to it, now did you? Nope.
Or it's
It became
like,
an issue when they spoke about it.
or
It's
it's
only
like,
an issue when they say it. And you trying to remember about it because now everybody's talking about it. But you didn't remember because you didn't even pay attention to when they was building it, whether they put a K on it or not.
No, I catch things. I feel like I'm awake to catch things, but I don't post about it
You
or I
don't
don't talk
remember.
about it. I'll tell my wife sometimes. I'll be like that changed, that changed. But
Yeah.
yeah,
or maybe like I said, they could be just doing like you said, testing anyway, right? Like so, A/B testing, right? So everywhere ain't got to get the change, right? We gonna make the change. Who gonna catch it? Is anybody gonna catch it? right? So
Yeah.
it ain't got it. So you could probably actually drive to a place in Utah somewhere, right, and see the Chick-fil-A sign differently. You like, hold on, and when you get back home, you just look at you, but you got to be able to connect those dots, right? So like,
You gotta be
you know
looking
what I
for
mean?
it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying here. Because different restaurants are different depending on a lot of the areas. They're not necessarily the same, or even probably spelt the same. But
Or show the same media. Like, so if they showing something on the East Coast, they definitely not showing the same thing over there. As or, and the good perfect example is ads or location or demographic targeted, right? So if I got an ad on the East Coast, I'm not gonna run the same ad on the West Coast, right?
shit, just like people got Comcast, we got goddamn Cox. You see, I mean, it's you see what I'm saying?
I hate Verizon.
Then
I'm with
that's just
Verizon.
like trying to answer a person from Virginia. Do you remember having Comcast? Man, you got some people probably like, you know what? I did have Comcast. No, the fuck you did. But
Yeah, Cox.
you see what I'm saying? People be debating in their mind because they'll be like, you know what? You lived in Norfolk. You did have Comcast. No, the fuck we did. But you have so many people believing that they had the shit. All because power of suggestion is a
And
terrible
you're right.
thing.
You're right.
West.
You right about that. People in general can be tricked and can be suggested things and can be coerced and all that. But there's, like I said, I can only speak for myself. There's certain things that nobody can convince me of. And you can't convince me that I'm misremembering. You can't convince me that I'm being suggested because it's like a core memory. Like Star Wars, like there's scenes in movies, I've watched the movies hundreds of times, and then it just changes. You can't convince me that I was seeing it wrong or hearing it wrong hundreds of times one way, and then all of a sudden when I'm told to check, right? Because I was told that it changed. Then I go back, go to my DVD. I didn't even go online or rent it. I went to my old DVD where I've seen it 100 times, and that some bitch was changed on that old DVD. That shit is freaky.
It's your subconscious. Your subconscious paid attention to that part, but your consciousness know how it really was. You see what I'm saying? Because at that time you didn't pay attention to exactly what was being said. That's
No.
like the doctor part. Nobody
There's
really
scenes.
paid attention to it. But now that everybody's speaking about it, now it makes you go all the way back to try to say, is that what he really said? You're listening now when you never listen.
I denounced that. I denounced that because
was watching.
It's true.
Hey, Flop,
it's true. It could be true for a lot of things. But I'm a movie head and I'm a Star Wars head, and it is iconic quotes. Like they're iconic quotes that everybody knows that the movies is known for. An iconic quote that changes, you can't convince me I heard it wrong for like the first 20 years of my life.
But the thing about it is, see, but they can do it with something that old. You see how that is? Because you got to pull from the archives to try to remember that, which is vanguardly hard to do to be able to get completely correct. That's why you would question yourself and be like, was it like that? See, they can't do nothing with something that came out last year like that because everybody's mind's already on it like this. It has to be something that's very old. If you pay attention, they're using old shit and trying to and changing. It's not nothing that just occurred last year. And they're saying, well, here's a Mandela effect to this from last year. Because everybody will be on it. It's too fresh in our memory. Going 20 years back, you know damn well you can't remember exactly what took place in that movie. Not word for word. Even you it's funny though, because you probably can recite it, but still can't really remember it. That you will have to go back and watch it again to see.
No, I went back to see what if it really changed. Like see what they were talking about.
That's when you got you right there, because as soon as you went back to see, you questioned this right here. But you already knew in your mind how your version of it was. So now you got the two in your head. Now you trying to weigh their version against your version. Their version is the new version. Now you question it because you're going more so off of what.
Nah, I question to this day. I know what it was. I know what the lines were. I know what lines changed.
Heard.
Nah.
You know what you ain't heard nothing wrong. That was your mind keying into what you heard during that time. But trying to go back 20, 30 years on a subject of a movie or anything or a cereal box, that shit is hard.
not
That shit hard.
not
You get what I'm
for
saying?
random shit, yes, but for like iconic core memories, like I
Yeah.
said, like my field trip in the '90s, it, you can't. I was there, I was at that memorial with those pictures, the pictures I showed you. I was in that space
So
in the '90s.
what was so outlandish? What stood out the most about that trip that you remember so
Yeah,
vividly,
that's
right?
how it is.
Because when I think about memories from back in the '90s, they always some outstanding, outlandish shit, right? It's always something dramatic
Oh, I
or
could tell you.
just really potent, right, to make it
I could
stick.
tell you.
What's
That
up?
was my first time in DC. That was like really my first time outside of New York. You know what I'm saying? We was like 12, 13, 14. All I knew was New York. Didn't go nowhere, didn't travel the world. That was like my first trip out of the immediate, out of the tri-state area. So to be
Mm.
out of New York into DC of all places for the first time in my life, that's boom, that's burned in there. That's like, yo, I'm in Washington DC. You know what I'm saying? So that's the state. It's like a staple core memories. Like your first time doing something ever. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be a core memory. And then being in DC and being in the Washington Memorial and seeing those the statues with all the states and the water, you know, the fountain or whatever, and then
Mm.
looking up the picture and seeing, yeah, I was there. I remember that. Like that's core. You know, that was my first time out of New York. Nobody can tell me I wasn't there in the middle of the '90s. But if
Maybe
you
you
ask the
didn't
internet,
remember you
it was
thought it though. It's hard to remember shit from yesterday. You know what I'm saying? That's
yeah.
why,
Well,
you know,
yeah.
even with doing police lineups and shit like that, people recollection, that's why they want to get to that person right then and there because they don't want to talk to them the next day because your mind has been fed so much shit over a course of years. I mean, constantly, constantly, constantly. It's hard to remember shit from back then. Even though you want to say, I can remember it, I can remember it, I can remember it. But it's a small piece of you saying, damn, am I accurate about those dates?
Nah,
Only
I'm
And
telling
because,
you.
remember,
I'm telling you.
only
I'm.
because, I mean, you do question it because you asking friends, did they experience the same thing with things at one point in your time? It hit your mind that did it really happen in '97
I mean,
or was it really in this date?
no, I could tell you why. Okay, I could tell you what I'm questioning is
Uh-huh.
the time is the year that that the internet is saying it was built. They saying
Yeah.
they started construction in 2001 and it opened in 2004. I was already living in Virginia in '99. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
I came to Virginia in '99 from New York. I went to DC while I was living in New York a few years before that. So it was my first time out of New York. I'm traveling to DC. That monument is there. I'm there. So maybe I came from a different timeline where it was built earlier than that, but in this timeline, it opened in 2004.
I mean,
Like I said,
it changed.
remember, dreams and memories aren't static, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you just recreating them. But don't
how,
forget that.
how can I create being there in the 90s if it didn't exist?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying
How?
that the thought is always moving, right? Because every time you dream about that thing or recall that memory, you're not standing in the same place looking at the same thing around the same people listening to. That memory is different every time you in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you was there for how long? A whole bus trip from
It was a day
New
trip.
York, a day
From
trip
yeah,
from New York. So it was you were taking in so much. When you think about that thing, you never gonna think about everything in the same exact way. So it's possible, like you said, when you wherever you were at, it may have been called something different. You might have thought, just thinking of something different. I ain't saying, hey, calling you crazy. I believe you went, but I'm just
I
saying,
feel you.
like, remember, memories aren't static. They
going
always
crazy.
ever changing.
Yeah.
Right,
See,
right.
I feel like I'm on a damn Twilight Zone right
It's
now.
mind
I'm
blowing,
trying to
man.
convince y'all I seen something that wasn't officially wasn't even here that I've
You know what I'm
seen.
talking about?
It's,
Now
it's
y'all gonna
blurred.
lock
Right,
me
with
up, put
aliens,
a
like,
straight
I
jacket on
told you
my
so,
ass.
motherfucker.
I'm gonna be 60 senile in a freaking senior home
Yeah.
talking about I was at the World War II memorial in the '90s and they built it in
Yeah,
2004.
there's a reason why they do it with old shit though, mainly for you know what I mean, for the world to see. It's a reason why because they know people recollection of shit. Something that happened last month is goddamn hard to remember. With all the distractions that these people pump at us on a daily basis, they know
You
you
see
trying to remember
90
a story
ads
about
a day.
that shit ain't possible, man. You're not gonna
That shit
remember the
ain't insane.
exact details of what was on it. You may think you can, but if they change it, You stuck with that mental of damn, did they change it or is this what it was? You know what it was, and you know they changed it, but they want to see who can remember and who can't, which a lot of people can't. I'm serious. I was looking a lot of the Mandela shit. So I'm like, damn, people really think it was this.
Yeah. There's some that I hear that I'm like, I can't call it. There's some Mandela effects that people talk about that I can't call. I'm not an expert in that song, or I don't remember this logo. So for those I leave alone, I don't argue those. I only argue ones that I'm certain that I feel like I really remember. You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to think about remembering. I don't even think I remember it. That I can just like. I don't think it just affected me. I've been on my same timeline probably.
I don't know. I be on it, cause anytime they bring one out, I look at him like these people won't stop because I see exactly what they're doing. It's strategic though. It makes sense for the people that's doing it, and the reason that they're doing it because the whole process is to make you forget.
Right.
And if they can start with small details, they can get you with the big ones. You know what I'm saying? But they're able to do it in your memory setting now, far as in your personal memories. Something that's been kind of hard to do because it's hard to change somebody's personal memories. Do they have the technology? I wouldn't doubt it because they work on shit like this all day long. But it's easy to make somebody forget something from 20 years ago. That's kind of it is because the mind goes through so much, man. Holding on to shit like that is impossible. That's just you was in your body. You don't even remember when you first tied your shoe. You don't remember when you first got on your bike. You don't even remember the
year. You was in your body.
Exactly.
I think I was 6.
I was 6
when I first time I shoe.
You know what I'm saying? But it's a lot of childhood shit that
you
did that you know that you did, but you don't remember the time. You don't remember how. You just remember that you did it.
And so that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. That's why I asked them how traumatic it was, or how because I remember, like I said, I can't remember one time I can remember riding my bike, hitting the goddamn curb, going fast, hit that sand patch and slid under the car and smacked my face on the bumper. Right, like I remember that. You know what I mean? So,
man, just like abused child can block out all the trauma that happened to them as a child and not remember.
Man.
You see what I'm saying? Because they know that's the power of the man that it can do that. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole machine all in itself that's being hijacked now. But
they got that perfected too.
Man, they own
know your ins and outs. Know how your hair grow, how your nails grow, when you shit, how you shit. They even testing your shit for you. Send me your DNA, nigga.
Yup. They got students, man. Come on, man. They want it all. You get what I'm saying?
Send me your DNA, nigga.
Look, where can they go wrong with all of everything that they have pertaining to human body?
I got your shit. I got your DNA. I got your name. I got your age. I got your likeness. God,
I got your memories. Now I'm changing your memories.
I mean, the memories will give them everything. Shit, that's everything that's sacred to you, because that's something you're supposed to hold near and dear. Your memories, something that's private.
For the record, I was at the World War II Memorial in D.C. in 1996. I was there. I came from a different timeline.
You playing your video?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's play this mind altering video.
This nigga said, I was there.
Why
you ain't get a lot of
say it in your Darth Vader voice?
Why you said what?
Yeah.
What you said?
Say it in your Darth Vader voice.
And that line, that Luke, I am your father, that line changed too. All right, let's get to
the
in their belief.
The thing about this, the reason why people would say it changed, because you never really paid attention to what he said back then.
Bro,
so now you have
that's an iconic ass line from since 78 or 70 or 81.
But nobody was questioning what he said back then. Think about that.
Yes, because it was understood. It was Luke, I am your father.
Now you have somebody come back 30-something years, 40-something years.
Yeah, so new minds.
It makes you think, is that what he really said?
No.
Because
he wasn't to the new niggas, but the new minds, they thinking it's one way. To the old minds, they thinking it's another way. So they get tiffed.
It was Luke.
Here you go.
I am your father.
Are you the same person that you was 10 years ago?
Hell no.
Thank you.
But
You see how
it
it
was
goes?
Luke, I
Well,
am your
so your
father.
memory's not it. Now think about
And it
that.
changed
Your
in
memory is
since
not
2013. It was no, I am your father. That shit is crazy. That shit is crazy. But you want to get into video?
I don't know. It's funny. I seen the movie, don't remember the part. They had me go back, and I was trying to hear what the motherfucker said.
All
And
right,
I couldn't even remember back then what he
I'm
said.
gonna show you
'Cause
how much of a Star Wars head I am. Give me a second. Hold on, because you can't fuck with me on Star Wars. Nobody can fuck.
Oh, so he's
But
trying
the
to say, "No,
man,
I am your father." So what did he say before that?
He said, "Luke, I am
I
your
don't even
father."
know.
No. What did
Look at
Luke say
these.
before he
These are
said
Star
that?
Wars novels. I fuck with Star
Man,
Wars, bro.
I believe you. I
I,
believe you 100%.
I do
But like I
this.
said,
I gotta put this shit
if
down
you're
somewhere.
not questioning, if you're not questioning at that time about it, nothing, everything will still be the same. Now, say for instance, they would have came to y'all a month after you first seen Star Wars and tried to come with that shit. You would be like, oh no, it's
I,
not possible. Letting time go past like 20, 30 years and then coming with a new version of it and saying, oh, this is what he said, is going to make you question it.
so you're saying just the fact of saying it's different makes it change?
so let's think
Yes.
about quantum. Let's think about quantum physics. Think about quantum.
There we go.
Uh, the qubit isn't a thing until it's being observed, right? And so when it's being observed in one way, right, that's what it is. So now once you introduce a new qubit, right, we have options now. We got options to look at. Now we got options, different realities now instead of just this one reality going through the split, right? We got two realities going through, right? And so when you looking back at it, and you, like you saying on your timeline or your memory, you know, it was one way, but like I said, a different brain could be suggested with something else, could be introduced to it. Because like niggas, some niggas might not have known what the fuck you talking about, and then their first introduction to it is
The new
the
way.
opposite.
Yeah.
You're right. Whatever. Right.
And
so,
that's fine. Okay. Yeah. For them, that's the only way they know that's what it always was. You know what I'm saying? Like my son, he was born 14 years ago.
So
he only had 14 years of experience. Anything that came out in the past 14 years, that's all he knows. He can't argue with me about Star Wars because he was born at the time all this Mandela effect shit started happening. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, like
remember, yeah, it's the past. You in three times. You live in the past, the future, and the present all at once. Now you know the memory is calculating all this shit all at once, trying to maintain all of these three for real different timelines. Because that's what it is. You in the future, you in the past, and you in the present. All of this shit at once. So all of that going in the mental, and then somebody coming at you or throwing some type of subjective memory towards you to see if you can remember, it's hard to do. Especially if they countering what it is that you think that you remember. And once everybody start talking about it, that's when it becomes an issue. Because it's like you said, if it's not observed, it's not a thing. It's not a problem. It's not a situation. It's not an issue. But once the mind start to entertain it, that's when it becomes a reality to be now thrown in to think maybe or maybe not.
I hear you. But I be noticing Mandela effects without nobody telling me. And I could put my wife on it. You can ask her. She thinks I'm crazy too. By the way,
give me one more story. Give me one more other than your story that's personal to you, other than your story on your trip to DC.
Like there's just a my memory.
Yeah.
I mean, I got one with my dad that's kind of crazy. I ain't gonna use that one. There's a handful of them, but I'm in a mind state where I do notice changes, and I admit I could be wrong about something. I'm not gonna sit here and say every time I notice a change, my memory is immaculate. I could be wrong about something, and a lot of them I do tell my wife, and she'll tell me she thinks I'm crazy about it, whatever. But I do notice things, and I'm like, yo, that's different. I don't go crazy about it like I did 10 years ago. Like 10 years ago, all these things changed, and I'm like, I couldn't sleep for 2 weeks because I didn't understand what the fuck's happening. I felt like I was in crazy town. You know what I'm saying? So there are things that I noticed, but I don't post about it. I don't talk about it. I don't like tell anybody. I just nowadays when I see something, I just be like, that's interesting, and I keep my day going. So not every Mandela effect I have to be told about is what I'm saying.
Yeah, what I'm saying is the memory has been dealt so much. It's kind of it's hard, man. much as we would want to believe some of the things that we once believed, too much alteration has happened. I mean, we smoke, we drink, listen to all of these mind altering substances that we use. It's impossible. And if you smoke marijuana since goddamn 2000 and what 13, you've been chemically induced through the marijuana. So, and that shit been fucking up memories since 2013. That's a fact. I studied the hell out of that shit. I'm telling you, chemical base. Now with the chemicals that they're using is all made for you to forget, not to remember. And you know how it is when you smoke. Short-term memory goes. It's gone. It's gone.
I'm an edible person, but yeah, I don't smoke for real. I haven't smoked. I don't really smoke.
But you since 2013, you didn't fat up a couple of them, you know. Since then, it's everything that we consume. It's meant to destroy the memory because they don't want you to remember shit. And you look at the way the world is now, everybody's awake, everybody woke. That's everybody hollering at. They can't have that. They can't. So then they're looking for ways to modify us even more than what they've been doing. Tapping into this. Let me put out something. Let me see how much the people remember. So now enough of them didn't forget. Let's amp up the chemicals that we're adding to the stuff because it ain't moving fast enough. That's basically what they're doing, and that it'd be a test. No different than trying to find out who's the smartest in your class. They're giving tests to see who can remember. Hey, toilet paper shortage. Let's see who's the dummies that's gonna run out and get in line for the toilet paper, and who's not gonna bite on this.
Right.
That it shows you the mentality of people, though. You get what I'm saying? That you can just give them something and they just run with it, versus the ones that don't.
We got a question in the chat. From FaZe Got Swank, what's the earliest memory of life you can go back to?
Earliest memory.
Shit.
I would say, honestly, I'd say probably like 5. To be honest with you, 5 around that age.
I have
I had some tragic events that took place. That's why I can kind of remember that time frame. You know what I'm saying? But anything before that, it's kind of like scarce memory. You can remember certain parts, but you can't remember the whole entire situation that may have taken place. So you remember bits and pieces. You know what I'm saying? But 5 is the earliest for me.
What was the memory? You remember? Or you want to
Who, me?
Yeah.
Shit, the people came and took me and put me in foster care. Shit.
Oh Lord.
No, that's a core memory. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Something that I know that can't be altered and changed. You get what I'm saying? Because I know this took place for sure.
For sure.
Nobody can change that. But
Frank, what about
ask me this question. Can I remember anything fully before then? Not necessarily. I remember bits and pieces, like learning how to ride a bike. You get what I'm saying? When it happened, how old I was, I couldn't tell you. But all of this took place before I was taken. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the shit you can't remember because of the altering things that you have dealt with in your life and just life itself.
That's crazy. That is crazy how you could be doing some shit and not really remember. Like you said, going back to when you learned how to ride a bike. I thought about it. I have no clue.
See?
I would really have to sit down and fucking muddle through some shit to figure it out, and that'll probably be, not impossible, but goddamn. Or imagine like my earliest memory is probably like them niggas we had found a rat in the crib, a little mouse or something, and it was on a little trap, and I was talking to that bitch. He was dead as hell.
Wait, you had a conversation with it?
No, I'm saying I was just being a kid talking to the fucking rat. That nigga dead as a bitch. And they throw that shit away, but I remember that.
I remember my brother got me in trouble. He lied on me about something and I got beat. We did stuff. But I didn't do that. It happened to me though.
You can remember bits and pieces though. But even when you're sitting here right now trying to remember some of the stuff that took place when you were little, I can remember stuff that took place when I was young. But it's like I said, it's broken pieces, with my sisters, with my brothers, it's all broken. You get what I'm saying? I couldn't give you a whole detail of the memory. I can just give you pieces, just like the bike incident. I can give you that. I can give you parts where cause your uncle was carrying Deshaun on his back, you know what I'm saying, walking through the neighborhood or whatever. Different pieces. Where he was at, where we was going, I couldn't tell you. What was going on, I couldn't tell you. You know
what the weather was, nigga.
I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't. So like I said, they pride on trying to see who can remember and who can forget. You know, so that's the whole moral of the story.
Hey, I was here in 1996 before it got built. That's all I want to say. I want to put the record out there. I time traveled. I came from a world where this was in the 90s and this planet it was built in 2001, 2004.
Yeah, you ain't bringing no lottery tickets, nigga.
I don't know what to
That's
say,
one
bro.
thing. That's the thing too.
If
I'm going to time travel, bitch, I'm going to get me a lottery ticket. I don't care what none of you niggas is talking about. Straight to the front of the line.
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to where all the gold was cheap and buy it all up.
Silver, gold, and silver. Hell yeah.
Lottery and gold. Look,
Bitcoin. Just get 10 Bitcoin. You be good.
Look, I can go back to get boy.
I have Bitcoin. My Bitcoin is doing good. That's the only thing that I do have is the Bitcoin. I do have that, and I'm scarce on that because I done read too much and it's a wild.
Leave it alone.
Read Tim comment real quick, and then we can take away. We can get to the video.
A lot. Okay, Tim said a lot of my memories from way back seem like screenshot. Screenshot.
That's a good analogy though, on real shit, because that's how it comes to you. Screenshots is not for memories; it's clips. You know what I'm saying? Clips.
And them shit's like gifs. Them shit's more like gifs, because them shit's be like maybe 3 seconds long, not even 2 seconds long, right? And just repeating the same shit, and you just gotta pull information from whatever that shit is.
And it's just how Facebook and all social media was at first. It was short clips, right? Because they knew people mental would not sit there and watch a long ass video. So they started. That's what. Exactly. So the mind doesn't go. They know how the mind works, man. They've been doing this shit long enough and been studying it so long. We just now touching on it, but they've been at it forever.
So you don't think CERN has anything to do with it? CERN? He's not changing reality.
Oh yeah, them niggas did that. They did that shit.
They don't sit on the temple. They don't sit on the temple of Apollo for nothing. That's where it sits in CERN, Switzerland. Of course.
I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna ask a handful of people that I have on Facebook that was in school with me, and I'm gonna ask all of them, and then I'm gonna get back to y'all, see what they all say. I'm gonna do like a little
poll and shit.
Yeah. I'm gonna be like, you was on that trip. Do you remember this memorial? And I'm gonna see what they say. You know what I'm saying? Even if they all say nah, they can't lie. They can't. They were in DC with me, right? We went to the Lincoln. We went to a bunch of joints. You know what I'm saying?
How old were you? How old were you?
He's about 13.
In 95, 11, 12, 95, 96.
You got to even remember how old you were. See how it's
Bro,
not
you
even
asked me the question, and I just did some math. I was born in 84.
And what grade was you in?
Like 5th or 6th. I'm telling you, I was in New York.
But listen to the point that I'm just trying to make. It's scarce because you can't remember the exact grade or the exact age because you're trying to pull from archives from 20 years ago.
But that shit is hard. My video just died. But no, bro.
Half a second.
I told you that was my first time out of New York into another state. That's a core. I don't know what my video is. That's a core memory. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, we saying it's a core memory, but it's still fragments of.
It's fragments.
Right.
That's
you was there for 8-9 hours. You could remember 30 minutes, nigga.
No. Here it is. I'm gonna show. I was here. You see these structures? They have the states on them. They're like New York, Virginia. There's 50 of them. They go around. I was here. I saw this with my own eyes. That's what I'm saying.
Cause he's stuck.
I was in this fountain. I was standing right here, bro. That's what I'm telling you. My body, my physical body was here.
Yeah, we're not saying that it wasn't because we quite sure you remember going, but It's just the memory is still it's like I said, like Tim
Y'all
said,
about to
it's
make
like
me go
screen.
crazy. I'm about to go fucking put myself in a happy house. I'm gonna check myself in, but like, look, I'm
Uh,
from a different earth. Fucking lock me up, put me in a padded room. You know what I'm saying?
I really
for
got them
free, man.
takeaways.
Got one. I would do take one first, man. Got that unified thrive. Encourage your friends to believe they from a different timeline. Make sure y'all like and share this comment, this content, because man, just and it's harder to alter your memory when you do it with somebody, right? Yeah, y'all not gonna remember the same way, but if 2 or 3 or 4 y'all in the same space, right? Then y'all remember the event. Then 25 years later, did this happen this way? If 3 of y'all got the same and if one person don't, you're wrong,
That's not true.
right?
No. That's what a Mandela effect.
That's my takeaway. Unifying through our personal possibility.
Y'all crazy.
We talk
Y'all
fun.
crazy. Y'all crazy. I'm gonna get back to y'all and see what these people say. But
That nigga said you're not.
I was there. All right, I'm gonna go check in. I'm gonna go check in a crazy house. I might be here next week. I don't know. I might be in a padded room.
Ooh,
Appreciate you guys for sending a
do
comment.
your takeaway, Frank.
My takeaway is I was in the World War II Memorial in 1996 with my homies. We took a trip from New York to DC, but it wasn't even built yet until 2004. That's my takeaway. These are Mandela effects. Can't nobody tell me nothing else.
He ruined out there.
Hey, the memory is on attack, people. Please protect your mental, man. That's all you have left in this world, man. Once that's gone, man, there's nothing else. So please, people, protect your mental. Your memories are your memories for a reason. You get what I'm saying? Nobody will view your memories the same way you do. That's why they're yours. Keep them shits safe, please. Stop putting all your business around the world, and you wonder why the people know everything about you. You post everything you do.
Mm-hmm.
You see through. It's transparent.
Mm-hmm.
Keep your life private, because
Mm-hmm.
the way things going, our children would never in life experience what we once had, which was privacy. That shit is
Oh
gone.
yeah, no.
It's gone.
This generation, they growing up on the internet. We got
Follow
one last.
Spoken Words 161 X Spoken Words 161 on TikTok, people.
We got one last comment. We'll go. FaZe got swang said we grew up on memories this time, and age. Oh, this time and age is way different. I can remember a big portion of my youth. We got some. He might have some Mandela effects. But anyway,
He owned it, yeah.
yeah. We'll. I'll get back next week. I'll get back to you on what my people said, and we'll take it from there. But appreciate you
If
guys.
everybody said it's different, Frank, and you still you got to give in, Frank.
Give into
You
what?
want the
I don't gotta give into.
If they say
could say
it's different.
no. They could say they remember. They could say yeah, we went to DC, but they saw the Lincoln Memorial, which we did, or they could talk about the other monuments, but they could say they never been to that one, and that's fine. I know what I saw. I was there.
But
So
real quick, do you remember if Tupac was still alive during that time?
he died in '96 or '97.
Frigid too. It should be frigid as well. I can't say exact the day he died. Well, I think it was 96.
It was 96.
I don't even
It
fucking
was
know.
96.
I think
Well, I'm
Biggie
just
Biggie was
saying-
dead. Biggie was dead.
97. He died
No.
97.
Yeah,
Biggie died.
Biggie was dead when we did that trip. I'm for sure. Matter of fact,
Fuck
I'm for
that.
sure that.
Yeah, I think it was a year.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. We'll get into it. We'll
all
do
good.
some soul dish.
I can't
We
wait
gotta
to.
find out.
I'm about to do an investigation, bro. I'm gonna find a teacher. I'm gonna find everybody. We're gonna get to the bottom of this shit. All right, y'all.
Find out.
Appreciate
Write the
y'all.
comment, like this, share this comment. We out here, man. Until
Yes,
next
sir.
time. Figure some shit out.
Good job, people.